thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to create a Cardinal birch Christmas tree on this beautiful flocked Christmas tree. Now we all know how much of a mess a flocked tree creates whenever you're decorating it, so don't worry about it. Whatever falls on the floor, we'll clean up afterwards. Not a big deal, right? So most of the items that we're going to be using today, I do have available in my Etsy shop, which is at bibelotreeves.com. You can find some of those items on there, and let's get started. Let's get this game going. Let's start with. We're going to start with these bigger items. So this is a grapevine. It is a grapevine lantern, and what I did is I put a piece of evergreen in the inside and attached different little picks, and I put a little cardinal in there. You can get these, something similar to this, at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, any of your craft stores. It may not be the exact same, but you get the idea. You can create this, and bigger items look so pretty in your tree. It's amazing what the quality and the texture and different aspects of stuff like this will create in the inside of your tree. So we're going to start with this first. And we may move some stuff, so everything is not set where it may stay. So just remember that it may be adjusted. We may move some things around as we're creating this beautiful tree. So this one I'm going to stick, I think, right in here. And I'm going to grab a pipe cleaner, and we're going to attach it with a pipe cleaner. You're just going to twist it around the branch so it holds it. Just like so. Just like that. We're going to start there. I think that's a great focal point to start. And I do have 3 of these grapevine lanterns available in my Etsy shop. Here's another one. And what I did is when I created these, I moved the cardinals around. So I didn't keep them in the exact same place each time that I made one. So this one we're just going to come down here at an angle, and we're going to attach it here. Okay, so I have one more, and we're going to put that one right in about here. And again, this one, as you can see, the cardinal is more towards the bottom. You can use pipe cleaners, you can use a zip tie to attach your ornaments. But big items sitting in the inside of your tree just gives the tree more character. Just like that. Okay. couple of these branches. Okay, I think next what we'll do is we're gonna add, I think, the ribbon towards the top of the tree. And let's put the Cardinal tree topper on. So let's start with that. And then we'll add the ribbon to the top of the tree. I'm just gonna bend this down just a tad bit so it stays on there. And we're gonna add picks and other things around the top of the tree as well, around the Cardinal tree topper. And there is, I do not have any of him available, but you can use a large Cardinal that you can find at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, any of those places. You can find a larger size Cardinal that you could put at the top. You might be able to find him at some of your online stores as well. Okay, just adjusting just a tad bit. There we go. Hi guys, let's get started on making the beautiful bow for the top of the tree. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use a 4-inch ribbon, a 2.5-inch ribbon, or a 1.5-inch ribbon. You don't have to use these sizes. You can always use 2 4-inch ribbons or just the 4-inch ribbon and the 2.5-inch ribbon. It's up to you on what you use. I do have some nice designer ribbon available in my Etsy shop, so please check it out. Let's get started, guys. So what I like to do is I like to start by dropping my ribbon to the floor. And we're gonna leave a little bit of a loop. We're gonna start with our loop and we're gonna leave a little bit of a tail because we want it to drape. And then we're going to make another loop. Like so. And you want your loops to be, you know, fairly good size because it is going to go towards the top of the tree. And you can adjust it, you know, as you're doing it. But as you can see, this ribbon is a very stiff ribbon. It is a very good quality ribbon. And you want to use a stiffer ribbon as to be able to keep the shape of your bow. Okay, now we're going to start with our 2.5-inch ribbon. I'm just going to drop it to the floor. And again, we're going to leave a tail on the ribbon. And we're just going to go over. And we're going to loop it. Just like this. Just like that. And when we're done, we will cut the tails. We will dovetail the ribbon and we will you can adjust it however you want your bow to look. Just like so. And you want your loops to be pretty good size because like I said, the top of the tree, your ribbon's going, your bow is going to be pretty good size. You want it to be very prominent and to stand out. Okay, now we're going to start with the 2.5-inch ribbon. I'm going to drop it to the floor. And again, you're just going to leave a little bit of a tail so we can drape it. And again, you're going to make that loop just a small amount smaller as each each loop you do, you're going to go a little bit smaller. So that they're kind of staggered. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, no bow is the same. It doesn't need to be perfect. Imperfect is pretty. I mean, it just, each loop, each ribbon tail can be different lengths. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner. I'm going to take it and I'm going to twist it around the back of it. And we're going to knot it and we're going to tie it. Just like that. And you can use any color of pipe cleaner that you want to use. You can use white, you can use green, you can use black, any color that you prefer to use. Okay, so now we're going to attach this to the top of the tree, right underneath that cardinal. Right underneath here. And you don't want to tie it, you're just going to twist it around one of the stems. Now let's just adjust the bow and how we want it to look. And you can pull these to make it smaller if you need to, if the loops are just too big. Like so. And just want to take it, and we're just going to loop it like so, just like that. And this over here, we're going to bring it in a little bit. Come over just a tad bit, like so. And I'm just going to twist the branch around the ribbon. And just get it the way that you want it to look. And at this point you can dovetail it, or you can cut it and then dovetail it, or you can bring it down even further. It's totally up to you on how you want to loop it, or if you want to continuously go down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dovetail these ribbons right here. I'm going to dovetail them, and I'm going to cut a pretty good amount off because I don't want them to be the same length. I do want them to be shorter and not quite as long as they are. So I'm going to go just a tad bit shorter on this one. And the same with this one. I'm just going to adjust the bow. How I want it to look. Just like so. you're just going to take your hands through the ribbon and just kind of pull it and just give it a little bit of a curve. So you want to make sure that your ribbon has very good wire in it so that it keeps its shape. That's what we want it to do. We want it to look just like that. I think I'm actually going to cut this one just a little bit shorter. I do want it to stand out some. Okay. So what you could do is you could come down further, and I think this one is just not quite where I want it to be. So I think I am going to come down. And I think what I'm going to do come down maybe to about in here. Let's see what's on it. It's all about where you would like to place it at, where you feel like it looks good at. So now that we've got it where we want it, and we've curled the ribbon, and we've placed this where it needs to be, and I think it's in a good area. I think that we're right where we should be. I think it looks good that way, and I think I'm going to stop it here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and then we're going to dovetail the ends. And it's totally up to you on how long you want to make the tails. I like a little bit of a longer tail so that it kind of sticks out. So, and you're, like I said, you're just gonna wrap your little branch around the tail, or the ribbon tail. And you just wanna make sure that it's got a loose, it's loose. It's not taut or anything. And so I do want to cut this one just a tad bit shorter so that you see this more. So I think that's perfect. I think it's exactly where it needs to be. And like I said, it's totally your preference. It's, you know, take a step back, look at it, see if that's where you want that ribbon to go. You can go down further. You can place it in many different places. But it's exactly where I actually want it to be. I think it's perfect. The tail is the right length. So from there, we'll just start adding more of the ribbon in different places. And we'll create loops. So let me pick up the ribbon. Twist it back around. Okay guys, so I think what we'll do next is we'll start right in here. I think that's a perfect place to add some more ribbon, and we'll just drape it down and go around. We'll add some more to the back of the tree. We'll add some to the front of the tree and over to the side of the tree. But with the additional ribbon that we're going to add, we're just going to create loops. We're just gonna make some loops. We're not gonna actually create bows. So I'm gonna take my pot cleaners and my scissors, and we're gonna put them over here. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start with our 4-inch ribbon again. And I think what we want to do is we just want to create a loop. We just need a loop. I think that is the perfect size. And you're just going to twist this other piece to come back around just like so. So that gives you a loop like this. Just one little loop. We're not going to create an actual bow. You're just going to have it just like this. And we're going to do that again with this ribbon as well. And remember, you're just going to go a tad bit shorter than this ribbon is. And you're just going to twist it so that you're turning the other back side of the ribbon to face the right direction. So it's going to look just like this. Hope you guys can see me okay. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to create these in different areas of the tree. Okay. I'm going to use my 1.5 inch ribbon, and we're going to do the exact same thing. And you can create the bow, you can create the loop like this, or if you wanted to do a bow, you could do another bow. It's totally your preference on what you prefer. But that is what we're going to tie into the tree. And I'm just going to tie it again in the back. Just like that. So that is what it looks like. And I will just get a little closer so you guys can see. So this is what it looks like. You have your tails. Just like this. And the rest we're just going to let drape, and then we will loop it through the tree and do the rest. Just like we did on the top. And like I said, adjust the loops on however you feel you need. And so I'm going to put this one right in here because it's right at an angle with that. I'm just going to attach it in here, and I'm just going to twist this pipe cleaner around the stem, and I'm going to bend the stem around it as well. Just like so. And I'm going to take my loops and I'm going to fluff them out. We're just going to bend it in there a little bit. And we're going to take the ribbon and we're going to do pretty much exactly what we did up above. So I'm going to take this the black buffalo plaid, and I'm going to attach it to the tan linen ribbon. And I'm going to run it down the center of it. And then I'm just going to make a loop. I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to attach it down here. And I want to make sure that it's like turned too, so that you can see the ribbon. And I'm just going to twist it around a branch. That's all I'm going to do. And I want to make sure it's loose. I want to make sure all of the ribbon is loose. And it's not taut. You want to make sure it's got plenty of slack there. So just like we did on the top, I'm not going to attach this ribbon either. I'm going to leave that ribbon separate because we're going to do what we did with the bow. We're going to create a longer piece, and we're going to curl it, and then we're going to twist it so it kind of comes down as a curl. So I'm just going to probably cut it to about right here. I'm going to dovetail it, and then I'm going to go underneath and just curl it like so, and then bring it down just like that. And then you just want to take your hands underneath it because you want it to have a natural curl to the ribbon, just like that. Then we're going to dovetail the rest of these. And I definitely want them shorter, so I don't want them super long. This one right here, we're definitely going to cut quite a bit shorter because we want it to stick out. We want it to have a different dimension than the other ribbons do. Just like that. Okay. You know, it's just finding the right place, messing with the ribbon, getting it where you want it to be. You know, it's all about where you feel like it should be placed at. I really like that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm even going to bring down another loop and then tie it off towards the bottom. So what I could have done is I could have made this tail a little bit longer, but I don't think that that would have looked right. But I am going to bring this down further, and we're going to twist it down in here, and then we're going to dovetail it down in here. And just twisting it, like I said, around the branch, and then pulling the ribbon so it's nice and loose. Just going to cut it. Well, actually, I think what I'll do is I'll take a step back just to make sure it's exactly where I want it to be placed, and then I will cut it. And actually, I think we need to bring it out just a tad bit more so it's more visual and you can see it. That's good. This one, I'm just going to go just a tad bit shorter. There we go. I'm going to curl it so you can see it more. But that is exactly where I want it. And I think what we will do is we will go ahead and cut it down here. And I'm just gonna cut it to about right here. You know, it's all about eyes. It's where you feel like it's where it should be cut at. You know, you can't go wrong. If it needs to be adjusted, readjust your loops, pull it a little tighter if you need to. That's why it's always good to have this much of a loop here, so that if you did cut it too short here, you could always readjust it and make your tails a little bit longer if you needed to. But I think that's perfect. I think that's exactly where I wanted it. I think it looks good. I think it's good. Okay, so now I think what we'll do is we'll add another one maybe right in here. I think we'll go this direction this time instead of the way that we went that way. We're going to go this way. So we're just gonna kind of angle it in different directions, so opposite of one another. So we're gonna do this one, and then we'll do another one coming this way. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're gonna create a loop, just like so. You're going to take that back piece and you're going to twist it, just like we did the last loop. Just like this. And it usually only takes about no more than 2 rolls of each ribbon, depending on how large your tree is. I believe this tree is 7.5 feet tall, I believe. So usually 2 rolls of each is a good point, depending on the size of your tree. But this tree is, I believe, 7.5 inches tall. 7.5 feet tall. 7.5 inches would be way too small. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do our next loop. We're going to take it and we're going to twist that back piece so that you can see the pattern underneath. So it's just like this. You're just creating a loop. So all you're doing is making sure that you can see both patterns on each side. So when you attach it to the tree, you can see that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do opposite of what I did on this one. So the plaid was over here and the 1.5 inch birch was on this side. So this time I'm going to do the plaid here and the birch here, just to alternate. So with that being said, I'm going to make sure that this piece here is my longer piece, because that's the piece that I want to make sure I'm able to curl it. Just like so. So there we go. See, guys? And we're just going to take that pot planer and we're just going to attach it and tie it in the back. So this is what it will look like, just like the other. And it doesn't matter if the tails are long or short, because we're just going to trim it. However, I did make this one a little bit longer, and we know we don't need that much. So I'm just going to pull it, and then I'm going to pull this one too, so I can adjust the size of that loop. Adjust it and pull it through so I can adjust it. I did make that loop just a tad bit too long, because we know we're not going to keep it that long. So I'm just going to keep pulling. Oh, not quite that much. So about right there. And there we go. Okay, so now we're going to attach this, and I'm going to put it right about in here. Let's start on the next loop. So again, we're going to create another loop like this. You're going to twist it. And I'm going to say my loop's probably about 5 or 6 inches. You can always measure it if you're not comfortable with making loops yet. But I'm going to say it's probably about 5 or 6 inches long in length. Okay, now we're going to do the buffalo plaid, and whereas we went on this side, we're going to go on the opposite side. So where this ribbon is at, let's see my hands. I went last time this direction. So this time, we're going to go the opposite way. And we don't want the tail to be too super long, so I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to put that ribbon on this side. And then we're going to twist that back ribbon again so that it's on the front. So you see both patterns. Otherwise, it would be like this, guys. You don't want the back side. You want the plaid, the buffalo plaid, to be shown. So this is how this one's going to look. We're going to do it just like that. And then we're going to take this next 1.5 inch ribbon. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to put it on this side, but this time I'm going to make sure I don't get that tail too long, because we don't want that tail, because we know we're going to make this tail shorter. This tail's always shorter. The 1 inch I always keep a little bit shorter. To me, it's just a visual thing. It's a matter of preference. You may want to do it that way, or you may not. See, that's it. It's that simple, guys. It's so simple. And where I'm placing it, you may find a different way to place it on your tree. It's totally up to you of where you want to put it. But we have so many things to add to this tree. So I think after we do this and I tie this to the back, and since this tree does face the street, I will add some ribbon to the back of the tree, but I think we'll wait and do that towards the end. So all I did was tie it in the back, like so. Make sure my ribbon is twisted. Now we're going to add this right up in here, I think. Okay, I do think that we do need something down in this corner. I feel like it needs a little something there. So I think what we'll do is we'll see if we have enough ribbon. If we don't, we'll grab some more ribbon. Hopefully we have enough. I can make a small loop. May not be enough ribbon, guys. I don't think it's enough ribbon. So we will have to start with the new row of the 4 inch ribbon. So let me grab that real quick. And this ribbon is actually by D. Stevens. It is, like I said, it's a designer ribbon. It's called D. Stevens. The item number is DS09-2374. I will put this in my comments down below. So if you would like to try to see if you can find the ribbon, if it's not available in my shop, you can try to find it online through Google. I don't want to create too big of a loop on this one, because it's just going to be down towards the bottom. So we're just going to twist it down on the bottom so that we have both sides. And I'm going gonna do the opposite of what that one is. Again, we're gonna go the opposite way. So where it has the plaid here, I'll do the birch and the plaid on that direction. I do feel like there is enough of maybe both these ribbons. Yeah, there's definitely enough of this one. Okay, so we're gonna go opposite. So we're gonna do this side. Twist it from the back. Like so. Just like this, guys. Okay. And I know we won't need that much of a towel on this end because we're only going to stick it, like right in about right here. So we're going to need very minimal ribbon on here. Okay guys, let's start with the ornaments. Let's start putting some of the cardinals on there. So what I have are some cardinals that are pretty good size. I think they're 9 inches. They have a little clip on the back, so it's easy to attach to the tree. We're just going to randomly put them on some of the branches. Like so. I don't want the clip to be seen, so I want to make sure it's twisted. And that's what we're going to do with all the cardinals. Kind of facing the other direction. Okay, so one of the things that I bought is I bought these little birch birdhouses, and I added these little cardinals to the birdhouses. They're made out of foam. I do have a few of these available in my Etsy shop. So like I said, just check out my Etsy shop, see if there's anything still available. They may be available, or they may have already sold out. Something that you could easily find probably at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, or Joann's at home might have something similar to this. Just buy the little birds and add them to it. It gives that little pop of color to the little birdhouse and just adds that extra little filling into the tree. I'm going to push this in here, just like so. So I want it to look like it's a part of the tree. And it's hanging there. I'm going to twist this around that little stem. Just like that. We're going to place these all over. And what I did is I moved the cardinal in different places. So it's not the same in each individual little birdhouse. They're all a little bit different. That's perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna add, we're just gonna keep adding these until we feel like we have enough of them on here. So this one I'm gonna put over here. I'm gonna twist the stem around the little hook, the little string. And I'm just gonna place it into the branches, just like that. Now I have some of these little balls, and so a good way to add some texture into the tree is to add some of your round ornaments if you don't throw them at the camera. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stuff these down in the inside to give a little bit of depth. So randomly, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. So like that, just like that. You see how that gives it a little bit of a depth. It fills it in. And so I'm gonna do the same thing down below. So I'm gonna grab another one of these, just like this, and I'm gonna come down here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm gonna add it, just like that. And I'm just gonna set them in there. Yeah, I think that's perfect. And so we have a lot of picks. And adding, not only can you add these to the top of your tree, around the topper, but it's great to also add into the branches because it brings in some additional color. Whereas this has the green leaves, this will add a lot of texture to the tree. So I'm just going to find a branch and just add that in there. And you can move them around. And you'll add it, twist it into there. But the pine cones and that little pop of green just adds to the overall look of the tree. It makes it look more natural. See what a difference that makes? It just makes such a difference to the tree. And so I have quite a few different picks that we can use to put inside the tree. This kind, and these are available in my Etsy shop for sure. I do know they are in there. So I'm just gonna add these different kinds of elements throughout the tree, just to give it the woodsy feel that the tree needs. Like so. I'm just gonna add something right in here. Just add that right in there. Just like that. See what a difference that makes. And just adding just those different kinds of textures into the tree. And you can twist the pine, the pine around this to keep it secure if you want to, in case you have small children. You can wrap the stems around it. Just like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of those to the top of the tree around the cardinal. We're just going to add some stems into the top of there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of these beautiful poinsettias to the tree. So I love poinsettias, and these just happen to match with the tree. So I'm just going to randomly place these in different places. But I think this is exactly the look I was going for. I hope you guys really like it. You get the idea of where you need to place things. I think it is a timeless piece. I think this is something that, you know, it is sentimental for me because of my father, and I think it's beautiful. And I hope you guys love it too. I just, you know, it speaks to me for sure. This little branch right here is just kind of bugging me, so I'm just going to move it. We're going to move it down here. There we go. So that way it's not blocking the one grapevine lantern. Okay, I'm going to move this down just a tad bit too. Okay, and then we're not done yet. I do have some of this, which is, it's foam, but it's made to look like birch. And I think it's just the neatest thing ever. You can cut it too. I'm not sure if my cutters will work on it. I'm gonna need to go get some scissors. Let's see how we want to add this. I think we'll add it right around in here. Maybe I'll just twist it around one of these branches. some of these branches down in here. And just kind of separate it. Let it flow a little bit more. Make sure that that's a little smushy smushed. Okay. And this ribbon is good. And we want our little loop-de-loop. I think that's perfect. I'm gonna add another pick up in there. I feel like it needs something right in that spot. I may need to separate it, and you can separate these. It's you just have to pull them apart, and that might be what I will do because I don't really need the full branch. So I think I am gonna separate this one. And so where it just did this, just take one of the pieces of wire, and you're just gonna take one of the stems. Well, not the wood piece. That's a piece of wood too. Okay. You know what? I got a zip tie over here. Let's zip tie it. I'm just gonna throw that piece on the floor. So I'm just gonna take a zip tie. We're just gonna zip tie that together because we don't want the pick to fall apart. Sometimes that happens whenever you pull them apart, but I don't need a big piece for right there. Oh, and I need do not want to use my scissors on that, so my good ribbon scissors, so, and I forgot to grab my wire cutters, so I'm going to just leave that piece on there and I'll come back and remove it. And I want to add this right in here, right into that, just right there, just to give that extra little bit of something, right there. Yep, that's perfect. We still have some more little birdhouses we can add to it. And there's some of this around too. Yeah, just like this. Like that. That's exactly what I think it needed. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add a lot of these throughout, just to fill in some of the gaps throughout. Because I don't want any gaps in here. I want it to be filled with greenery or with wood or with ornaments, something to fill the open spaces for sure. I still have quite a bit of stuff still left over that I can add throughout the tree, and I still need to do the back side of the tree. But you guys get an idea of what it's going to look like. And like I said, once I'm finished and I finish putting everything else into the tree, it gives you an idea of where to place stuff. Where I put it may not be where you want to put it. So put it where you feel it should go, because there's no wrong way. There's no wrong way with placing it. Use your imagination. Look at it. Take a step back and visualize in your mind of where it should go. Because, like I said, there's no right way. It's a matter of preference. Someone might come in here and say, "Oh, I don't like it there. It should go somewhere else." I love the tree. I think it turned out stunning.
Oh, Christmas tree, your branches green delight us. Oh, Christmas tree, your branches green delight us. They're green when summer days are bright. They're green when winter snow is white. Oh, Christmas tree, your branches green delight us. Oh, Christmas tree, you give us so much pleasure. Oh, Christmas tree, you give us so much pleasure. How oft at Christmas tide the sight, oh, green fir tree gives us delight. Oh, Christmas tree,